what's up, guys? This is Mike again from the James 16 group here, and I want to show you a trade that I've just entered utilizing an auto charters pattern and a pattern that we use within the group here. So there's a lot of things going on here, and again, we want to speak always about confluence, about confirmation, how to play these breakout patterns, and this is sort of a new way to play this breakout pattern. So I'm using this initial falling wedge from auto charters to understand what this market is doing. Again, a falling wedge, as we've spoken about in previous videos, so again, hopefully you'll go back, watch a previous falling wedge video. The most important element in terms of the basic information is this area here, right? And this area here is indicating momentum loss. So every time price makes a new low, what does price do? Well, it retreats higher, retreats higher, retreats higher. Once again, we make a new low over here. That's where this support trend line of the falling wedge of the blue line here. And what does price start to do? It starts to retreat higher. So now, what does that do for me? Well, again, it gives me a heads up of what might be happening here, which is momentum loss in this marketplace. It's the sellers sort of losing control and the buyers having a possibility to take over. Now, what I'm utilizing from the James 16 group and what I teach is going to be utilizing a price action bar confirmation, and it actually exists on the daily time frame here. So I'm going to switch to the daily and show you guys the breakdown of that now. So again, our falling wedge is in here, right? So here's that momentum loss over here. Price is making these new lows, losing momentum. We can see price squeezing down in here, right? Price starts to squeeze down. It's sort of funneling lower. But what I'm looking at also in combination with that, so I'm going to get rid of those lines, is there's another important trend line on this chart here, and that's going to be this line here. So we can see price has support, 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 confirmed over here. Again, spend a long time away. So we want to say, okay, you know, is this trend line still valid? Well, when we get to this area over here and price bounces off it, we say, okay, this is still an important point here. So what price did was then drive underneath this trend line. It closes underneath this trend line over here. And if we zoom in here so you guys can see that better, you can see we had that support, right? Price forms support again, price breaks under here, closes under, and then what happens? It pulls back and confirms it as resistance. So we then broke down, right? And if you look where we broke down into, it's all this support down here, very large support zone. So if you were going to take a breakout of this area and trade it down into here, well, at this point here, you should be looking to get out, right? Or, you know, making sure that you don't have risk out, because this is a very strong support area. Now, what price has done now is very interesting. So utilizing, again, that falling wedge information made me say, okay, look at that. Take a heads up here, Mike. Look at what auto charters is showing you, right? It's showing you that momentum loss that falling wedge is going to give you. So I've utilized that in order to say, well, if we combine that with the confluence of this rising trend line, price is now closed today back above this trend line, right? So it's indicating, in my opinion, now the breakout to the downside is confirmed and done with. It's now sort of a false breakout to the top side. Again, this is sort of a new way to trade patterns, is looking for false breakouts or looking to get in earlier, which would be from a 4-hour perspective, although it's all the same information, and now look to buy back in, which I've done. So if we take a James 16 group pattern and we combine these three bars here, so we took this first bar, second bar, this third bar, sort of blended them together, we would have an open and close that would be right here, and a nice long nose this way, which in the group we call a pin bar. So again, it's just a way to combine this information. Price is price. It's just to give us a visual representation of what is taking place here. So I'm going to be looking to get price towards this next support and resistance zone, which again, you can see support, support, price flips into resistance. And again, don't forget, if we switch back to that 4-hour here, we're going to see that wedge from auto charters, which again is starting to catch in a little bit earlier here, right? So as we start to get into this area here, might be a good time to possibly take profit. Or what we could see is this too. We might see price bounce off this area, pull back to this support, which is confirmed as resistance, and then take off higher into this more major support and resistance flip here. So again, a lot of moving pieces here, and what, you know, my goal with these videos for you guys is just to show you that, you know, you want to take information and just start to break it down, just start to understand it better. And it's going to start with these patterns spotted by auto charts, saving you time, then start to dig into that and say, well, what is price telling me? Can I develop a story and a possible trade plan here? So what I'll do again is I'll update these videos each time as I do in the group, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so just a quick update here. Again, we've seen price now move higher. Again, it's getting towards near that resistance of the wedge here from Auto Chartist. So again, this becomes an area of interest now. We want to start to watch here. What I've done here is now reduce my risk. Again, I'm going to hop over to the daily chart where we base this trade, confirming that wedge here. And again, I've just reduced it from underneath the low here to up, again, just underneath this low here. And again, you can see that sort of price pivot zone flipping here we spoke about, from support to resistance. But this is the key for me, is always looking to reduce that risk. That really puts risk reward in your favor. So while it initially looks like the reward is smaller than my risk, understanding that this is sort of the zone that we don't want to see price come behind, that allows me some flexibility to reduce that risk. And that's sort of how I like to use trade management and risk management together. Again, of course, with money management, proper money management going forward. So I'm just sort of watching this, seeing how we push higher here. Again, we do have major Australian news tonight with interest rates. But again, having that majority of the risk reduced really takes a lot of pressure off as a trader. Okay, guys, so we got a really strong push here during the interest rate announcement here. So I've just gone ahead and gone to break even, just looking for a last little push here into the support and resistance area. And then at that point, hopefully the trade closes. All right, guys, well, take profit was hit here. So a nice gain. We're at this next support and resistance zone here. Again, all based on the falling wedge, and we're just pulling in more information using a daily rising trend line and a false breakout situation, and just piecing everything together here. So again, we'd love to hear your feedback, and look forward to doing more videos.